Thank you so much, Dumza. Now, today, we'll be chatting to registered dietitian and ADSA spokesperson, Abby Courtney, about how to get our healthy eating habits back on track and what foods to avoid and what foods to regularly help support a healthy immune system. Welcome to The Loft, Abby.
Thank you so much, Felisa.
I'm excited to get into this conversation because, you know, in January, that's what everyone is talking about, how to just live better, healthier lives. So if we were to just understand what diets we should be focusing on and what really we should be eating, how best do we get back into track? I mean, are lots of people flooding to gyms?
Well, I think definitely, yes. Everybody is flooding to the gym. Everybody's going on a diet. I think that's what that's synonymous with January. We all just want to get fit. We want to be better. We want to be the best people that we can be. But I'm going to be a little bit of a Debbie Downer here, and I don't want people to go on diets. I actually hate the word diet, you know. I want people to follow a healthy lifestyle. And the best advice that I can give to anyone is consistency. So whatever you choose to do from January until December, just try and do it consistently. And if you go off track, that's absolutely normal. It's human, but just get back onto your track and just be as consistent as possible. So whether it's exercise with Carly or whether it's eating well, you know, like I said, the best advice I can give is just consistency and do whatever you're doing regularly.
Now on social media, I'm also seeing a lot of this buzzword, dry January. Okay, so how much does being alcohol-free and having an alcohol-free diet help you curb those festive carbs that you've gained and festive calories?
Well, the interesting thing about alcohol is that it actually contains 7 calories per gram. And now if we look at carbohydrates and proteins, they each contain 4 calories per gram. So you can see how energy-dense alcohol is. So even if you go from, for example, drinking an alcohol-containing beer to an alcohol-free containing beer, you're going to cut the calories right then and there. For those of us who are taking part in Dry January, myself included, I think it really is just it's a wonderful way to reset yourself, because sometimes we indulge a little bit too frequently in the in the festive season. Luckily, our president has made that very easy for us this January. You know, but it really, and a lot of people will decide to then go to sugar-free alternatives, you know, like sugar-free cold drinks, which if that's what you enjoy having, go for it. I'm not a huge fan of sugar-free things. I just feel like they're very sweet in any case, even though they may not be giving you the calories or the carbohydrates. So my preference is often to go to sparkling waters or to go the flavored water route. So you often get these sugar-free, sweetener-free flavored waters, which are really interesting. And I used to always advise my clients to get those if that's what they were looking for.
And you've also mentioned carbs, you know, carbohydrates. So should we all just be cutting down on carbs?
You know, that's the age-old question from the last, gosh, I think about 6 years, isn't it? You know, the truth is, I think that carbs definitely have their place in the diet, in most people's diets, especially if you're physically active, because carbohydrates are used preferentially when you're exercising. But the problem is we're eating a lot of refined carbs. We're eating a lot of processed foods, you know, and so the best advice I can give any person when it comes to carbohydrates is not necessarily to reduce them, but to perhaps look at the type of carbohydrate you're having. So what I always say to people is choose a carbohydrate that looks the same on your plate as it looks on the plant. So if it is minimally processed and it's in its whole form, you know you're getting a whole host of nutrients. You're going to get vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, fiber. It's a whole package of nutrition that you're going to be getting in. So I'll give you an example. I mean, are there any pasta plants? Does pasta grow on plants? Definitely not.
Yeah, no.
You know, there aren't any bread plants.
I wish it did.
I wish it did too. You know, so those are examples of processed carbohydrates that we can limit in our diets. But things like beans, lentils, quinoa, bulgur wheat, barley, those are the kinds of carbohydrates we can include more frequently in our diet. And it also forces us to be a little bit more innovative, you know, because now just having a cheese sandwich is pretty easy, you know, but going and, you know, boiling some barley, putting it with a little bit of pesto, some salad, a bit of like shredded chicken, all of a sudden you've got this delicious, amazing meal that is also nutrient dense, but it is also probably going to be lower in carbohydrates, if I'm being completely honest, you know, but full of nutrients.
You know, that plate, Abby, that you just described seemed quite dynamic, quite diverse, and quite interesting as well. And we're all visual learners. I mean, I am a huge visual learner. So if I were to just look at my plate, what advice would you give as to the portions in protein, carbs, and of course the veggies that I love?
Yes. So there's actually something called the plate model, and it's one of my all-time favorite things to teach any person.
Okay.
And if you look at your plate, if you cut your plate in half, and that's a standard dinner plate, right? So if you cut your plate in half...
Well, my plate's a little bigger.
Well, as long as it's filled with veggies, I'm okay with that. You want to cut your plate in half, and half of your plate must be filled with vegetables. And what I always say to people is, don't be too sort of phased about what kind of vegetables are on your plate. Focus on color, focus on variety, focus on getting a lot of different things into your diet on a regular basis, because that way you know you're not going to become deficient, you are going to get a variety of different kinds of nutrients, and you're also going to keep life a bit interesting. Then what you do is the other half of your plate, you cut that in half, so you've got basically 2 quarters.
Yes.
The top quarter you fill with lean proteins, so we're thinking things like you could do vegetarian proteins, beans, lentils, chickpeas, those kinds of things, or things like skinless chicken breasts, or you know, meat with the fat cut off. You could have eggs, low-fat, plain dairy products. Those kinds of things will fill that quarter. And then your other quarter is your carbohydrates. So that would be those healthy, minimally processed sort of whole grain carbohydrates that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And really what you do is you just mix that all together, blob a little bit of, sort of healthy fats on there, and healthy fats are generally your plant-based, again, minimally processed fats.
Avocado oils.
Exactly, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of avo, a little bit of nuts and seeds, those kinds of things, because it just ties the dish together.
Yeah, beautiful.
I mean, like, I think of just like a big blob of basil pesto, and that just makes the meal
elevated.
divine.
Elevating the menu
Exactly,
today.
exactly.
And finally, with COVID-19 and different illnesses, that's definitely the buzzword right now.
Yeah.
How then does our diet play a very strong role within our immune system and keeping that strong?
Yeah, so your immune system is supported by what you're eating. And again, I can't stress this enough, that a variety in your diet is of the utmost importance. And it seems like getting enough fiber in your diet is also really important, because that's what the bacteria in your gut eat. And it seems like the bacteria in your gut, or your probiotics, can also help modulate your immune system. An interesting buzzword at the moment, though, is vitamin D. Now, interestingly, there's no sort of like hard line with regards to vitamin D, but vitamin D is very important for our immune system. Now, vitamin D is known as the sunshine vitamin. So obviously we can get that from sitting outside. You don't have to sit outside for hours and hours at a time. 10, 15 minutes is more than enough, because we live in Africa, but if you are worried that you are vitamin D deficient, then I suggest you go and speak to your healthcare professional, speak to your doctor, get tested, and then get supplemented if needed.
Okay.
Because they have found with COVID that if you have got a vitamin D deficiency, it could possibly be worse for you. But once again, chat to your doctor.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Abby. It seems like there's so much to learn and understand when it comes to our diet and how that plays a pivotal role in our functioning day to day. We really appreciate all the advice and the tips and tricks that you've given us.
It's such a pleasure.